Welcome to another edition of Biro Sports Talk. I'm your host, Biro. Oh, Zach, that was really. Oh, those emojis, man. Uh, as always, we are on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram. We have usually some pictures of setup before we go live. Any sports questions, you can always reach out to me at BiroSportsTalk at gmail.com. And for those who know, they know. So, as you all know, I am your host, Biro. And of course, we always got to mention Evo Retro. Gaming merchandise, not wearing the merch today. Gaming accessories, of course. Funko Pop protectors, card protectors. The typical got one-stop shop for all your needs. So let's go right in to the show, right? So decided to do a different angle today just because, well, really just because. What? Look at that. Chronic Nerd gifting a whole bunch of subs. Looky there. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it, not gonna lie. Oh, that's awesome. Great to see. And then I went down to one. Man, what happened there? But anyways, let's get back to what really is going on. Uh, maybe. Maybe. Let's get back to the sports talk, man. Because that's what we are. We're here for sports talk. There we go. All right. So, man, just all the subscriptions tonight, man. That's awesome. That's all you can say to that. Just because all those subscriptions were just given out, let's talk about something that caught me off guard a little bit today in the wrestling world. Yes, we do talk about wrestling occasionally, usually when Zach's around. Shocker, I know. But Cesaro letting his contract expire and he's no longer with the WWE. Now, to me, this is a surprise just because loyalty. He's been there for so long. He's one of Triple H's guys. But, of course, as Zach had to mention, it also makes sense that he's gone because most of Triple H's guys have left. Guys, yep, Vince going to be Vince, exactly. And like I said, I'm utterly shocked by this. I know, and I think it's not next week, but the following week, we will have the first wrestling game in over about 2 years. Hopefully 2K does not mess it up. But speaking of hockey, yeah. Hockey night. I mean, the Blue Jackets are playing the Florida Panthers, Just throwing that out there because, hey, hey, Livy, what's up? Glad to see you're here. Also, if you're in the chat, don't forget to check her streams out. I believe it's mostly Fortnite for her. What's up, Strictly Bearded? Man, I haven't even dove into any sports yet. Of course. It's so hard to just bring that up at times. Minecraft. Uh-oh. Haven't seen the Minecraft one. So that'll be interesting, to say the least. But let's dive on in with some NFL draft questions, because I know a lot of you I got a stream. Emily wants to play too tonight. Who? I don't. Okay. I'm confused. I'm very confused about Emily, but okay. Moving right along, though. Oh, so you got some picks. It's a game. Okay. Losing all train of thought because of distractions. Oh, man. No, of course. Already redeeming the drink water. I see how it is. Got a drink. But I know some of you out there are waiting for the higher bid. You know, like my wife hosting the show. The hydrate or dihydrate. The wild card. Oh, man. Oh, so fun. So very fun. I did hydrate. But anyways, man, trying to focus. It's so hard. I mean, it's hard to talk about most sports stuff at this time of year just because we're kind of at the end of football. Basketball's building up to the next coming months. We're not quite there yet. Honestly, right before I hopped on here, I was watching Shelby girls basketball come from behind victory over Sandusky Perkins in the district finals for Ohio high school basketball. Yes, I did see Jeff Hardy is in AEW. He did come out and announce it finally. Let's see. I'm going to have to look into fixing a lot of this stuff on the channel. But don't forget there's a Discord. I don't know if I posted it in the chat. I'm sure I could pull it from Facebook maybe. Because, we're just trying to do some quick hits. Like I said, there's not a lot to talk about in sports. I mean, the NBA All-Star Game went without a hitch. A lot of people are actually disappointed with the dunk contest. I know, shocking. Does this show the link? I don't know. See if I can copy the link. Oh, man, we're copying the link. Is LeBron going back to Cleveland after this season? No. Not after this season. That's a terrible idea. Could I see LeBron going back to Cleveland if Bronny's there? I honestly think he's going to stay in LA. Stay in LA. Figure out where Bronny goes and go from there. I got, 3 stars? What? No. I'm trying to figure that out. Some big news in today. It deleted the link. Oh no. That's no good. Can't have that. I can't have the link deleted. That's all right. I know on Facebook, though, there is the link there. We'll have to see about that. No. Yeah. So, anyways, another thing going on today was Packers GM came out, said he never promised a trade to Aaron Rodgers. Now, ooh, hear that crack. But will Rodgers be traded? I sure hope so. A little bit because I'm a Bears fan, for one. And, of course, for two, I think it would just be best for Rodgers to move on. We all know that Brett Favre stayed way too long. He wanted to be out of Green Bay as well, and he finally got it. A lot of interesting. I agree, yep. A lot of interesting things about some picks. So the 9 most interesting teams and top picks in the NFL draft. So they have these 9 teams. So Jaguars, Lions, Texans, Jets, Giants, Panthers, Falcons, Broncos, Eagles. Jaguars, number 1 pick. What do? Do they get a blocker? I've seen a lot where they're like, let's get defense. Personally, I'm all for protection and weapons for the offensive side. Because, you gotta be able to protect Trevor Lawrence. You gotta build around Trevor Lawrence. Interesting. Would the Jaguars be better off taking a receiver with the first pick in the second round or grabbing a pass rusher there and waiting until the third round? All very interesting thoughts. Mostly because when I look at the Jaguars and how they work, they need to build this team again. They were in the AFC Championship, just tore apart the team. Yes, they need an O-line for sure, but they need weapons as well. They need solid weapons. They have guys, but they need to be put in situations where they succeed. And apparently, Urban Meyer was not the guy to put him in that situation. Personally, for what they mentioned here, first pick, I'd definitely go O-line. Second round pick, personally, I would consider pass rusher over receiver because there's some good late round receivers, as always. There's usually a couple guys there. Lions, of course, got the number 2 and, of course, the 32nd, thanks to Matthew Stafford winning the Super Bowl. Yes, I know Bengals fans, it still hurts. Do they get the edge rushers, Kayvon Thibodeau or Aiden Hutchinson? Or do they go a different direction? Honestly, if I'm the Lions, you got to go defense here. You got to go one of these edge rushers. You kind of have Jared Goff already. Don't have to worry about it. With his 32nd pick, they were talking about you got Jared Goff on the roster already. What do you do? Well, personally, I think they should get someone to help him. I know you go defense that first pick, but again, just like with the Jaguars comments, I think you need some offensive line to protect Goff. A wide receiver would be great at 32. Brown is going to be a stud wide receiver. I think you're talking I think it's like Amon Brown Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yep. He's was great towards the end. And I think with a season under their belt, yeah, the chemistry will be there. This, however, is a very interesting situation. So at number 3, you got the Texans. This is interesting because you kind of need help everywhere. You also are getting a young quarterback who, by numbers wise, matched Tua's numbers. Do you really think you need to get a quarterback? Personally, no. Do you think you need to get some talent around him? Definitely, yes. The talent is definitely something that they need to get. But what should they go for? Again, I'm a firm believer. You got to get the offensive line. For them specifically, the pass rusher that the Lions don't pick, I think would be a great pick. Something they lost because of J.J. Watt. They just don't have a pass rush anymore. Clowney left. They just didn't have anything anymore. Next team that they mentioned, Jets. 4-10. Those are your picks. Who do you get? Defense was really bad. Zach Wilson got hurt, but honestly, defense is a big need for them. I could definitely see safety, even corner at pass rusher, but in my mock here, there's no pass rusher between the top two, so I would go like safety or corner to get it. Is 4 too high for a safety? No, because honestly, safeties can be very good if you pick the right one. They just have very bad luck with some draft picks. A team also very familiar with bad luck are the Bengals. And look what they've done recently. They've turned it around. And I think that's what you expect with the draft picks for the Jets. They're going to pick the right guys. They're going to turn it around and get better. And here's one I'm still a little disappointed to hear. Giants, they pick 5 and 7. One of those picks, of course, are the Bears, who don't have a first-round pick. Fun times. But what do the Giants need? Oh, man, what don't the Giants need? Really, I think offensive line's a big one. They also mentioned defensive line. I could see that. But personally, I would go offensive line for them right away. Offensive line and probably a receiver, only because with a dynamic receiver, I think they could go a lot farther. Barkley is just injury prone. I don't know how much more you could give Barkley before it's just done. Carolina Panthers, pick number 6. You got Cam Newton, Sam Darnold, and P.J. Walker. A lot of people talking about Jimmy G going here as well. Do you invest in a quarterback? Or do you do something else? I agree with the very first comment. You got to go offensive line. Something that revolves around injuries is not having a good offensive line. Darnold, Newton, Walker, you got to have an offensive line to help them. Could you get a quarterback? Yeah, but that would require a lot of offensive line through free agency. Free agency is not always the answer. But if you want a proven offensive line, yeah, go free agency. You want upside for long term, I would draft an offensive line. Number 8, of course, are the Falcons. They just got Kyle Pitts, who did very well. Who do you get next? I mean, here's what I think for the Falcons. They got the raw end of the deal when Calvin Ridley decided to take a break from football. So I get the receiver notion, but you can get some of those on day 2 or even day 3. I'm looking at the Falcons, I would say line, but I mean, Patterson was great. Defense has been an issue since the Super Bowl, so I think defense would almost have to be addressed here at 8. However, at the pick 8, you're kind of looking at needs versus best available. And yes, I see defense, but depending who's available, I would say get the best guy. If it's a wide receiver, get the receiver, man. Do they need a quarterback? No. I think it's too soon still to say, hey, Matt Ryan, we're getting your successor. It's still a little soon for that. Pick 9, Denver Broncos. It's interesting. Everyone's expecting that Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson will get traded there. I mean, if they don't get either quarterback, do they draft a quarterback? Almost have to, man. Drew Lock's not the answer. Teddy Bridgewater wasn't the answer, surprisingly. But that could also be Vic Fangio's fault. Fangio's. I think I said Vangino. It's Fangio. Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, great prospects. Even Matt Carroll, good prospect. I think I could see a Kenny Pickett going to the Broncos. I think he matches that mentality, and it works. Oh, man, they have the Eagles with 15, 16, 19. I think you got to get some line. You got to get some defense. Do they have a great receiver yet? I don't even know if they've got a great receiver yet. So, of course, that's what I would say. So, with that being said, a team I'm just very intrigued what will happen now that we won't have, as of right now, Tom Brady and Big Ben Roethlisberger. I'm sure we'll hear more retirements this offseason as it goes on. I just find it very, very interesting. Some off-season moves for the NFC teams, because I know, trust me, with me being a Bears fan, we'll talk about NFC a lot. One of the biggest moves they expect for the Bears this offseason is build a new offensive line. Could not agree more. Sure, you got Justin Fields. He is a great quarterback who I think was in the wrong system. He did what he could for a system tailored for like someone else, honestly. I just can't pinpoint someone else. But here's the thing. They had James Daniels, Jermaine Ifedi, Jason Peters. They're all free agents. They're all going to walk. Sam Mustipher was the center. A lot of people don't think he's an NFL caliber player. Cody Whitehair's can be good. And Larry Borum was solid. I would love to see more out of Tevin Jenkins and Larry Borum. I do think you move Whitehair back to center, and you'll have to build with some guards. See what happens. Get maybe another tackle, just in case these tackles aren't ready in Borum and Jenkins. Ooh, that's really gutsy. Yeah. So, really gutsy for the offensive line would be putting all your eggs in a basket for Tevin Jenkins. I think Whitehair will be there. I do. I think Borum will be given a chance. He did pretty solid. I think you have to get guards. You have to either draft some talented guards, but do you really want to use the draft picks there? We'll see. Because here, just speaking of the Lions, they want to add a significant wide receiver. I mean, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and all he has to do is get better. You have a decent DeAndre Swift. You have some journeymen who are next. You can get someone. I just don't see the Aaron Rodgers things playing out for the Green Bay Packers as I just go down the list. But, looking at what the NFL entails, that's all I got for you. I do appreciate, I see we're at 9, which is a great number to see. Especially, I know last week was a little lower. This week looks great, man. I love that there's a whole bunch of people here. And I gotta be honest, I love doing this, especially with people who come and see the stream. They support each other. Gotta love it. So if you haven't followed these guys in stream, so like Strictly Bearded, Chronic Nerd Gaming, LiveBug4, go ahead, give them a follow. Because, they deserve it. I know LiveBug's just starting out. Strictly Bearded's going to have a stream later tonight. Chronic Nerd Gaming is just hit affiliate. Had his first affiliate stream the other night. All great streamers. Go and support them. Before I go, it wouldn't be a Biro show without talking basketball, man. Wouldn't be a Biro show without talking basketball. And as much as I would love to talk NBA, I'm just not a big NBA guy anymore, I should say. Let's be honest, not anymore. We'll go straight into standings for college basketball. Because we are on the dawn of March Madness. So, next week, they finish up the regular season. That second week of March, I start to get a little twitchy. See the eye twitch a little bit, So we're going to try to run through this as fast as I can. The Atlantic Sun, some names to think about. You got Liberty, you got Jacksonville, and you got Jacksonville State. Liberty, traditionally very good. Florida Gulf Coast could be the underdog as always. A surprising 19-10, 9-6 record. The American East, Vermont, remember that name. they're going to usually win that conference. UMBC, the ultimate underdogs, the only 16 to ever beat a number one, right there in second. Don't count them out. However, Vermont's 23-5 this year. Moving right along to the American Athletic Conference, you got Houston, SMU, Memphis, but you also have very talented teams in UCF, Cincinnati, and a surprising Tulane team that's 9-6 in conference, 12-12 overall. Who is the best college player right now? That's a hard one. Because from the games I've watched of the top prospects, I just got to be honest, I'm not too impressed with a lot of them. I do like Chet Holmgren, who I do follow on Instagram. I do like his abilities. The problem is I feel like he's just not let loose. I feel like he's not in control of the game that he could be in control of the game. Whenever I've watched Duke, Paulo doesn't do much when I watch. If he does, it's obviously not leaving an impression, which is sad. But those are the two. I haven't watched the Auburn kid. I would like to watch the Auburn kid. I've heard a lot of good about this Auburn kid. I'm drawing a blank on what's his name even. But, yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one right now, just because of who I've watched, it would probably be Chet Holmgren. But back to these standings, just try to run them down real quick. Make the show a little longer, of course. The Atlantic 10, you're looking at Davidson, VCU, and Dayton. You know, the usual suspects. St. Bonaventure, of course. They're just only going to get better in that A10 division, though. ACC, you got Duke, Notre Dame's, which little surprise, but they're a little older, a little better this year. Miami, North Carolina. Wake having a awakening. Haha, terrible joke. Big 12, Kansas, Texas Tech, Baylor, Texas. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, TCU has a good overall, terrible in conference. Iowa State, good overall, terrible in conference. The Big East, Providence has been a big surprise, 23-3. I mean, a lot of people were high on them to begin with. They're just now starting to play very well again. Just going to check out their losses, but also look for Villanova, Creighton, UConn. Let's see, Providence lost to Virginia, who's bad. Lost to Marquette, and lost to Villanova. Villanova was a 5-point loss. Marquette was a blowout. And Virginia was 18 points. So, you know, interesting. The Big Sky Conference, just look for Montana State, but I wouldn't be surprised. I see Weber State. That's a team that usually wins out of the Big Sky. The Big South, though, you got Winthrop, Gardner-Webb, all on one side. On the opposite side, Longwood looks like the best team right now. Wouldn't be surprised if Winthrop got it. And, of course, you got your Big Ten, Wisconsin, Purdue, Illinois, Ohio State, Rutgers, Iowa, Michigan State, Michigan. I'll even throw Indiana in there. Those are the guys I think are borderline. If Indiana could win some more in conference, they'll probably be in. Michigan, however, I feel like they just got to survive. They got to get some wins here. Their coach just got suspended for punching the Wisconsin coach. Well, slapping it more, if you want a more accurate description, slapping the assistant coach of Wisconsin. Which, honestly, I blame both parties. Wisconsin didn't need to stop and talk, but Juwan also didn't need to share his feelings. Like, you don't necessarily need to do that there. Oh, whoa. We're going to stop real quick one last time because Evo Retro has your gaming needs, has trading card accessories, has Funko Pop protectors, even have game protectors. Personally, I like the old style plastic hard covered cases. However, Funko Pop protectors and the game protectors from Evo Retro, very plastic, very solid, and very clean. So definitely give them a look. Now, to close it out, because your host Byro's here, we can go through some of these conferences. Big West, you're looking at Long Beach State, traditionally good. UC Irvine, but you also have California State University, Fullerton Titans right there, looking good playing wise. The Colonial Athletic Conference usually or traditionally could get 2 teams in. Don't know if they will this year, but you got Townsend winning right now, UNC Wilmington, who usually seems to get in, Drexel and Delaware. Drexel's only 9-7, but Hofstra's a big surprise this year. Conference USA, of course, you got Middle Tennessee on one side, North Texas on the other side. I wouldn't be surprised to see upset somewhere here. Usually, you see that in these. Don't want to call it a lesser conference, but Conference USA is just not Conference USA anymore. If you know what I'm saying. I see the squid came out. The Horizon, Cleveland State, definitely the team to watch. Wright State's another team to watch, but I see Purdue Fort Wayne is up there. That's going to be one I'm intrigued to watch. See if they are as good as advertised. Ivy League, of course, you got Yale. Harvard's about middle of the pack. I only bring up Harvard because the Wildcat, whenever we would do, or Wild Card, sorry. Why did I call them Wildcat? The Wild Card would always choose like Harvard when we would play NCAA 2K. So, the MAAC, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, MAAC. Iona, that's the team to look for. I would also throw in Monmouth. The one I'm still a little upset is Wildcard, who I think it is. Yes. The answer is yes. Because he's the wild card, if you traditionalists remember ATA Gaming. And by remember, it's still a thing, so get used to it. See? But talking about the MAC, still disappointed with this showing. Toledo, Ohio tied for the top. I would watch those 2 teams along with Kent State. Experts are also bringing in Buffalo in that conversation. I wouldn't bring Buffalo into that conversation. But, like I said, I would definitely bring in... Bring in Kent State. Akron is okay. But, yeah. The MEAC, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference. You got Norfolk State to look forward to. Missouri Valley Conference. I expect Loyola and Northern Iowa to battle there. Hopefully Loyola Chicago makes it again. Everyone's favorite team. You also got Drake and Missouri State, who pose a threat there. The Mountain West, you got Boise as your number 1. But you also got Wyoming and Colorado State with very good records. I wouldn't even be surprised if San Diego State gets their name out there. The Northeast Conference, you got Wagner and Bryant. So those are the 2 I would recommend. Ohio Valley, Murray State's probably going to run it. Respect a good run. Take 2 to tango. Isolate. Hello, I don't play though. Wow. Very impressive lingo there. Lazy Cat Stevie. As I was saying, though, the Ohio Valley Conference, Murray State, Belmont, Morehead State's the only one I'm a little surprised to see there. So we'll see. Pac 12, you got those teams Arizona, USC, and UCLA. Oregon on the outside, Colorado on the outside, Patriots. Colgate is the team to look for. Navy is a team that's there. The SEC got Auburn, Kentucky, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, maybe LSU, but South Carolina's right there too. Southern, Chattanooga's the team to look for. Southland, I would say New Orleans. The SWAC, you got Florida A&M and Texas Southern and Alcorn State and Southern. The Summit right now, South Dakota State's just the team there. Man, just laying bars in chat. Man, just laying the bars down, man. Oh, man. Sunbelt. I would say Texas Tech, Appalachian State, Troy. West Coast Conference, Gonzaga, St. Mary's. BYU's kind of fallen off, but San Francisco's right there. In the WAC, you got New Mexico. Please read out loud. You got Cat Dance and Flow. It's pretty sick. Read out loud. Let's see. The second one was Thirst Trap and Thursday Slurp. It in the first place or get murked. In your derp face, I dare say. You pale face, this migraine. Defies pain. Oh, man, I messed that up. Defies pain. Am I blamed or am earringly hitting your noggin? Okay. But as I was saying, though, the WAC, New Mexico State, Seattle, Sam Houston. But with that, I do. Last line was no bueno. It's all okay, man. It's all good. I do appreciate you coming and stopping by, though, Lazy Cat Stevie. Chronic Wildcard, appreciate it. Strictly Bearded, of course. And, of course, Live Bug. As I said, though, if you haven't followed the people in the chat, definitely give them a follow, man. Affiliates, trying to be affiliates. Let's get them there, alright? I do appreciate it. And as always, I'm the host, Biro, and I will see you next time.